Alrighty, we're back. Zell's podcast, episode 12. This is gonna be a short podcast episode, but I don't care. This is Zell's podcast, episode 12. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. So I don't really have much on the plate for this episode, but I did just want to dial in real quick and you know, um, talk about the current status of Cleveland sports. This is probably gonna be up really late at night, but who gives a crap? I'm awake when I'm awake. You get the podcast when you get the podcast, yes. But you know, so let me see. I mean, we got some Cleveland news here. There's the obvious news, but you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers have gotten Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz, which is so funky because I just literally saw a Donovan Mitchell jersey. I like buying jerseys because I think they're kind of swaggy. I was listening to that Chris D'Elia joke or rant about it. He was saying if you buy a jersey, the guy should be able to smack your back cheeks out. And to me, I just think that's a little strange. I don't know. I feel like jersey just is like a swaggy shirt. I wasn't really thinking much about the name on the back. Long story short, I don't really agree with this skit. I mean, Chris D'Elia, if you know who that is, he's kind of funny. You should look him up. I mean, he's decent. But I don't know. He's just got some cringy stuff he says sometimes that just isn't flat out isn't funny. But he's pretty good. But I just thought that joke was kind of weird. Like I don't know. I feel like jerseys are pretty swaggy. Anyways, I like the Utah jersey swag, so I ended up buying a Donovan Mitchell shirt, and I hadn't worn it for a long time. I had the shirt for I don't know, or the tank top. I mean, for a little bit. So decided to wear it like a couple days ago, and the next day, the Cleveland Cavaliers get Donovan Mitchell. So that was kind of just a funky tale, and I feel like I had something to do with that. J.K. Lols, all that extra fucking phenomenon shit is bullshit. Shit just happens. Irony is merely because we exist, there will be irony, and we created that irony to a degree. But anyways, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Which, look, let's be real here. My channel is about music, podcasting, sports. Main sport I'm going to talk about is Cleveland Browns because let's be real, football is just more interesting. Well, not more interesting, but it's just it's a more popular topic. It's just more popular. And I mean, frankly, I do enjoy it a little bit more just because the stakes are higher. Because they play so few games, but also you get such a small sample size. But basketball is always a great sport to me too. It's just not as, especially for a Clevelander, not as engaging. Leading into my why I feel good about Donovan Mitchell because the Cavs, I felt like they overperformed this year because they weren't expected to be good, but Evan Mobley was better than expected. But he don't got no dog in him. I mean, I like Evan Mobley, but I just have a feel like he's never gonna be a closer. So I feel like the Cavs went out and got, and Darius Garland. It's also, I think he was just tired because we lost Jared Allen. They was getting smoked on defense. They were getting smoked on. The offensive teams were coming at them. They were getting smoked on defense without Jared Allen, and so they got Donovan Mitchell, who I mean, he's an all star, man. I mean, they had some great highlights. They they messed up the Utah Jazz messed up the Oklahoma City Thunder. Was that the Oklahoma City Thunder last round? Yep. Russ Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony or whatever. Which looking back, those actually aren't that good. That's not that good of a team when you really think about. Yeah, because when you really think about it, I mean, Russell Westbrook is not. He's Westbrook. Paul George is a good two. Melo Anthony. I mean, that actually was not a good team at all. Now that I think about it. But that being said, they had that great battle with the Jazz. I mean, with the Nuggets and the bubble or whatnot. I like Donovan Mitchell. He seems like a pretty good player. Um, they'll be a good backcourt, good dominant backcourt. But I do have to say it is kind of funky to me because they are both 6'1", I believe, and I'm 6'1", and you know, look, you're not anybody that's over 6'5" is going to be an issue to guard. So I just feel like this team's defense is gonna. Well, then again, I mean, how tall is Colin Sexton? I don't know. I think this team's defense might take a step back, but their offense is going to take a mighty step forward because Donovan Mitchell, if it's one thing, he's always going to be confident, and I just do not feel that that is necessarily the case for, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They all seem young, even though Darius Garland is the point guard. He seems more apt at being a floor general than just flat out offense. Although he's pretty good, I just feel like he doesn't seem to have that takeover gene either. But he's not scared. But Donovan Mitchell, yeah, that's a cold blooded killer right there. So that's a legit all star. So now I think they will probably be around the same win total. But let's be real here. I mean, if the Cavs ran it back without Mitchell, they would probably win less games if I had to guess. Once the league figures out Evan Mobley, which you think they would have had figured them out by now. So, but for Donovan Mitchell, this team is a lot better than the Jazz for sure. I feel like Rudy Gobert he's a good defender, but, he clogs up the lane. I feel like Donovan Mitchell is a great scorer because he had to be scoring on some of the hardest defenses to play against. I mean, given the spacing with Rudy Gobert on the floor, I'm trying to say, that's a help defender every time. I feel like he was playing with some pretty good shooters, though. But, I feel like this is still a great pickup. This is just a great pickup. And it comes at a great time when we're about to suffer this, possible 0-11 with the Cleveland Browns. Not that I like Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby Brissett. I just never felt that Jacoby Brissett was a finisher. I don't know. I feel like he's just too dink and dunky. To the point where if we don't blow them out early in the game with the Cleveland Browns, I just don't feel like we're gonna win the game. I mean, I feel like Jacoby Brissett is damn near. He's similar to Baker Mayfield, like, but he doesn't have the highs that Baker Mayfield has. But it's the same thing with Baker Mayfield. End of the game, I feel like Jacoby Brissett, he'll have an honest 3-and-out. That's the thing I like about him. He'll put our defense at the very least in a better position than Baker Mayfield would. I feel like. Because, Baker Mayfield's going to fucking, like that Kansas City Chiefs game, stumble, throw a fat pick at the end of the game, a fat pick. I mean, like, bro, that's the only thing you could have done? So, Jacoby Brissett, I feel like, will just go 3-and-out and punt the ball 4,000 times. Basically, that's going to be the offense. But I really did want to focus on the Cavs, I guess. The thing that I was saying was funky about this is, like, we gave up Sexton, the new draft pick, old Jabo or whatever, Laurie Markkinen, and a bunch of picks. But this is a great time in Cleveland sports right now. I can't even lie. Has there ever been this many All-Stars in Cleveland? Cleveland is the city. Cleveland been the city. That is, if you think Cleveland's not the city, you're just a liar or a lame. But anyways, the main point of this podcast here, I want to dial in on real quick. This episode 11 of Zell's podcast. Excuse me. Episode 12. I don't know why I said 11. Episode 12 of Zell's podcast. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's short. I think him and Darius Garland have to be about the same size. I forgot. I was looking at it earlier. I think they're both like 6'1". Look, I'm 6'1". That's not going to be good defense. So we're going to be, hope to be similar to Golden State Warriors, I feel like. Because you got a pretty nice backcourt. So that's just great. This is just great. So it's good to have some good news, going into this Browns season. We'll find that the Cavs will sneak up on us in October, I think. So, I mean, I don't want to be too negative about it though, because you know it's a good thing, but we do. I still feel like we lack that small forward presence. Not that you really need it to win championships, but it helps, and I just feel like we probably moved into that 4-5 range in the East, 4-5-6 range in the East, which is good. You want to be there, but I just feel like, you know, Donovan Mitchell is really good. Like I feel like we'll be competitive, and that's what we want to be, and we should want to be that. But will we have enough to win a chip? I don't know. Remains to be seen. I mean, the defense gets a little bit tougher in the playoffs because the refs just let them play, and when you're smaller, I don't know. Donovan Mitchell has put up 50 points in the playoffs though. This makes the Cavs very interesting, and I can't really put any predictions on it. Basketball is a hard sport to predict because you don't know how their chemistry is going to be. But I just want to see how this plays out, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm very entertained. I'm glad Cleveland did this. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out. And we got Browns Panthers coming up here. We'll see how that goes. I'm glad to see them too. So I don't watch enough Guardians. I know we got Jose, So Cleveland sports is going. It's Cleveland versus the world, baby. That's Zell's podcast, episode 12. We're dialing out. I know you want more. You need to just wait because more will be coming out soon.